Okay lang po, medyo hindi po siya gumagalaw. So I just opened the opening the program with a prayer. Let's bow down our head and thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you so much for the opportunity of having this webinar. We thank you so much for your guidance and thank you, Lord, for giving us another life. And kaya mo, Lord, na pasalamatan ka sa lahat ng pagkakataon for giving us a free air to breathe each day. At hayaan mo, Lord, na ma-appreciate namin, O God, that even though we're experiencing struggles and even challenges in our lives, nandiyan ka pa rin to sustain us. Thank you so much for this day. Hayaan mo, Lord, na maging fruitful po yung seminar na to. And let each and every one of us appreciate, oh God, your goodness in providing us the things that we need to know in order for us to sustain this life of yours na binigay sa amin. Salamat po na marami, O God, sa ipong papuri pagsamba dahil mabuti ka sa lahat ng panahon at sa lahat ng pagkakataon. Sa pangalan ni Jesus pong samot-dalangin namin. Amen and amen. So, good morning, dear participants. Hello once again. I am Aldrin Reyes from the Mental Health Division of the Disease Prevention and Control. To ensure that our activity for the next 2 hours will run smoothly, we are reminding our attendees to please put our audio on mute while the speaker is giving her talk and only unmute during the question and answer portion. So again, just a reminder for your attendance this morning, I would like also to request our participant to accomplish the attendance form to the link given in the chat box. Now, we will have our welcome remarks to be given by Ms. Francis Priscilla Cuevas, the team lead of the Specialty Care Divisions of Disease Prevention and Control, to formally open today's webinar. Ma'am Presi, you now have the floor. Thank you.
Yeah, salamat Aldrin at welcome po namin ang lahat. At sa umagang ito, this is a very important time for each and every one of us kasi importante po talaga na we take care of ourselves. Ito po yung gusto nating gawin at ito rin po yung isang banner program ng ating Health Promotion Bureau that we take care of ourselves and we take care also of other people. Kaya itong wellness program that we are doing and workplace wellness seminars na gusto nating ilagay or ipaalam para sa lahat is a very important step in ensuring that we are able to take care of ourselves. Thus, we are able to take care of each other at the same time. And we hope na mag-enjoy po tayong lahat. Let's just relax, no? Relax and take on everything and let's just be happy today. God is good to us and this is another day to rejoice in His goodness in our lives. Kaya welcome po sa lahat and we are very happy to see we have 118 participants. Talagang patok na patok kung ano ito. Kung this is a movie screening, patok na po ito. So 120, 121 and counting. So yes, thank you. And we're happy to see all of you here. Aldrin, back to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ma'am Presi, for that inspiring message. At this point, we shall now begin our workplace wellness webinar session today entitled Building Resilience, Getting Comfortable with the Uncomfortable. Let me introduce our team speaker. We are lucky to have her with us. She is a psychiatrist and a diplomate of the Philippine Psychiatric Association. She's a medical specialist too at the National Center for Mental Health, former DTTB, and had her master's degree at the Development Academy of the Philippines. She earned both her medical and bachelor's degree in psychology at the University of the Philippines. Her interests include mental health and psychosocial support, public mental health, and forensic psychiatry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm presenting Maria Melissa Das to be our speaker this morning. Take it away, Dr. Das. Dr. Das, are you? Hello, Dr. Das. Mukhang may problem po yata yung... For a while lang po ha. For a while lang po, mama, nagkakaroon po ng technical glitch. For a while lang po.
Hello.
Andiyan pa si Ma'am
Yeah,
Melissa.
okay.
Yan, narinig na po
So
natin.
good morning, everyone. Okay, good morning, good morning, everyone. So, I apologize for some technical glitches, but yeah, I would like to share. Okay, Aldrin, ako na lang mag-share.
Ayan na, ma'am.
Hello.
Ayan na po, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you actually see my PowerPoint already?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Aldrin, and good morning to everyone. So, our topic for today, as part of the series, as what Ma'am Presi said, it's all part of a series on workplace wellness. So last week, Dr. Bongkahes, also from the National Center for Mental Health, discussed a topic, and now we are going through building resilience, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. So this one, we are given 10 to 12, while doing the lecture, you can type in the chat box for all your questions and we're gonna answer it after. Okay? Sige. So just to give a frame of what we'll cover today, so what we want to understand is the how mental health and resiliency actually affects each other. We'll cover a little bit on the most common stressors that we face today and our stress response. And later on, which I think is the bulk of the of this lecture, is on building your skills to endure hardship and resilience roadmap. Okay, so before we formally start, okay, so as what Ma'am Presi said, let's enjoy. Okay, let's have this is a light lecture, and this is for your individual resilience. Now, let's just take a moment to really assess and evaluate your feelings for today at this moment. No? How are you feeling today? Okay. Kamusta ang gising mo? Okay. Ano ang mga nararamdaman mo? It's already Friday. So usually, kapag Friday, we have a little bit of medyo masaya tayo. Kasi it's gonna be a weekend. 2 araw na walang pasok. So Are you slightly happy or not really big happy? Okay? Are you a little bit worried or very sad or may mga problems na iniisip? So let's just check in sa sarili natin, sa mga dominant feelings or emotions that we experience. Okay? You can type in the chat box kung ano yung mga nararamdaman nyo for today. Okay? And we'll go through that later on. Okay? Some people feels that they feel good. So generally, positive yung mga feelings. No? Okay. So let's just, this is somehow the slogan of mental health. There is no health without mental health. Always. Mental health or one's mental health is considered the foundation of being well, of your well-being, and be able to be effective in functioning. Okay, effective in terms of doing what's expected of you, not only as an individual but also in your community. Now, so definition of mental health, it's not really, di ba? We know that it's not really the absence of mental disorders. No? A negation of kung wala kang depression, wala kang anxiety, ibig sabihin you're mentally well. No? A person who has good mental health has a sense of purpose, productive and creative, resilient, flexible, and has a good self-image. So for this morning, we will really delve into resilience and sort of how one can cope with the normal stressors of life. Okay? Pwede na rin natin isama yung mga in extreme experiences that we are faced with at the moment. Okay? So, um, ano ba yung common causes of stress? Okay? Can you type in the chat box, no, what are the usual feelings or paano ano yung feelings, no? What are the common things that stresses you out? Okay. They say, no, according to a survey, as we are, most of our time is, we spend it with work, no, 8 to 5, no, Monday to Friday. So, marami talaga ang nagiging causes ng stress ay work-related. Work-related. So, some of the things na according to the survey na that's work-related, no? It's being unhappy in your job. You're not really happy with your job. It doesn't give you fulfillment. Having a heavy workload or you have too much responsibility, very heavy. There are a lot of things na pinapagawa sa'yo, so overloaded ka. Sometimes working long hours, especially now that we have siguro yung mga alternative na mga work hours na before you have to work 8 hours, 7 hours a day, ngayon 10 hours or 12 hours. Or sometimes dinadala nyo pa yung mga trabaho nyo hanggang sa bahay. Okay? So working long hours, no? Having poor management. Okay? Poor management. So it has to do with the boss and the employees relationship. And sometimes poor communication between the employer and the employee, it adds to work-related stressors. Working under dangerous conditions, no, or you feel unsafe in your workplace. And siguro ito marami for us, especially for millennials and young professionals, no, being insecure about your chance for advancement or risk of termination. Siguro if you're a contractual, no, tapos you don't have the security of tenure, that risk na anytime you might not be renewed or you might not get promoted, you don't have that chance to be promoted, actually also adds to the stress that you're feeling. Now, hindi lang naman work-related stress ang na-experience natin, no? Okay, of course, we have life stressors. No? You have your work life and then you have your life stressors. No? According to a lot of surveys, no, these listed in this slide are the ones that pinakamataas yung level ng stress na nararamdaman ng isang tao. Okay? the death of a loved one, death of a family member or a partner, nasa top yan ng list ng stress. Separation from your loved ones, okay? Breakups, annulment, divorce, or being physically separated from your family because of this pandemic, okay? Loss of a job, okay? Or loss of means to sustain your life, okay? Increasing financial obligations, okay? Mas marami kang obligations financially. There are a lot of people depending on you. Getting married, no, it's a positive thing, but it's really stressful as well because there are a lot of changes that that comes with getting married. No? Moving to a new home, being diagnosed with a chronic illness or being injured, if you have emotional problems, no, you have depression already, or you have anxiety, no, taking care of an elderly or a sick family member, and of course, being subjected to a traumatic event. So these are the common stressors na nakakapag-impact that have a very big impact sa atin. Okay? Now, you have that work stressors and you have those life stressors na we go through, no? Even our parents, no, 10 years ago, it's the same stressors that we have to face. But we know that since last year, 2020 has been a year of multiple changes and stress-inducing situations. Now we have the pandemic, and because of the pandemic, we have economic strain. There are a lot of people losing their jobs, no? Societal unrest. No? They have this unrest sa mga tao and political divisions. If you watch the news, a lot of political divisions that's happening, and environmental disasters. No, like for example, ngayon the Taal volcano is erupting. It's an environmental disaster that is also stress inducing as well. Now, we have the life stressors, we have the work stressors compounded by this COVID-19 pandemic. No? Now we have multiple stressors being experienced at the same time. So, mas matindi yung mga stressors that we are faced with. Now, let's just review. I know you have an idea on the stress response. No? Let's think of how you personally experience stress. Okay? For some, no, you have bodily symptoms. Okay, the mind, the emotions, and behavior as well. So, with your body symptoms includes fatigue, pagod, headaches. You always have sakit ng ulo, migraines, no? Taut muscles, stiff muscles, minsan at the back or dito sa may shoulders, no? Skin irritations, no? You will have, for those with allergies, they will have eczemas, no? Nagkakaroon sila ng exacerbations of their allergies, frequent infections because if you experience really stressful events, sometimes your immune system also medyo humihina siya. That's why you have frequent infections and constricted breathing. Okay? In your mind, you are worried, you are a little bit indecisive sa mga things that you want to do, you are very negative sa mga bagay-bagay, no? You have foggy thinking. Sometimes if you decide, no, you decide hastily without even putting much thought to your decisions, no? And sometimes impaired yung judgment. You feel loss of confidence or yung esteem mo sa sarili mo, you have apprehension, self-doubts, you feel indifferent, no? Depression sometimes or sadness, pwede rin to the point that you have clinical depression, irritable, easily snap sa mga tao. Hindi ka naman yung ganun dati na madali kang magalit, but you're very irritable, okay? You have poor sleep, okay? Sometimes people will resort to substance use. Mas napapadalas ang sigarilyo, mas napapadalas ang pag-inom ng alak, or sometimes loss of appetite. You are accident prone, no? Because of all those foggy thinking that you're having. You have restlessness and you feel lonely, and you have problems with your sleep. Now, adverse events or even stressful events are really painful and difficult. No? It's a difficult time. And there are things that you cannot really control. But you have many aspects of your life that you can really control, modify, or grow with. Becoming more resilient helps you get through difficult circumstances. No? It also empowers you to grow and even improve your life along the way. So it's really painful. No, it's difficult, but you can grow from this experience. Okay, it's an opportunity for growth. Okay, resilience. The definition, okay, of resilience is being able to adapt. The word there is adapt to life's misfortunes and setbacks. Diba? Sinasabi nga ni Charles Darwin, in terms of survival, it's not really the strongest people, it's not the most intelligent people or the species that will survive, but the 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 ones who are ready to adapt or adapt well in terms of changes in the nature in life. So it's very important to be able to adapt to life's misfortunes and setbacks, because life's misfortunes and setbacks, it's part of life, and these are things that we have very limited control over. Okay, so let's just think of this. No, when something goes wrong, if things didn't go well as planned, as you planned it, do you tend to bounce back or you fall apart? You think when you had a last time that you had a very um, stressful situation or you're dealing with a big problem, do you tend to bounce back or you fall apart? Okay. So resilience is not only your ability to adapt, but also for you to be able to recover quickly after stress or an adversity. Involves bouncing back from difficult experiences. No? It's difficult, it's painful, pero being able to bounce back, and if you recover quickly, no, that's already a sign of resilience. But that's not only the thing that we look to when we talk about resilience. Adaptation, bouncing back, but thriving and growing, thriving and growing in the face of this adversity. So, in terms of adversity, no, being resilient also means na you thrive, you have growth, even during the darkest of times. Okay? So, resilient disposition, usually, if you have a resilient disposition in the face of life's challenges, you have poise, okay, and you have a healthy level of physical and psychological wellness. For a less resilient disposition, you are more likely to dwell on problems, okay, you feel overwhelmed easily, and you use unhealthy coping to handle stress. When we talk about unhealthy coping in handling stress, usually these are um, drinking, use of substances, drinking alcohol, using cigarettes, and sometimes mga other drugs pa, okay, to handle the stress that you're feeling. Okay, resilience as adapting. Um, when stress and adversity strikes, you still experience anger, grief, and pain. So that's normal. Okay? When you feel stress, if there's a bad thing that happened to you, of course, it's normal to feel angry or to feel sad and to feel pain. It's normal, but you're able to function, able to keep functioning both physically and psychologically. Despite na meron kang dinadala or meron kang iniinda, you were able to function well pa din. Now, in terms of resilience and mental health, no, being resilient or having a resilient disposition can help you from various mental health conditions. So it's a protective factor in terms of developing clinical depression and some anxiety disorders. And if you do have mental health issues, being resilient also can improve your coping ability. Okay, what's not resilience? No, being resilient doesn't mean that you will not you're like a robot. You will not experience any difficulty or distress. You don't feel negative emotions. No, that's not resilient. Um, Resilience also is not a personality trait that only some people possess. No, have you heard this na siya kasi resilient pero ako hindi. It's not a personality trait. Actually, it is a skill, no, or a skill set, no. You can learn to be more resilient, and you can develop your own resilience. And resilience is very ordinary, no. Hindi siya parang superpower na binibigay ni God sa certain people lang. But actually, resilience really takes time. Really takes time and intentionality on your part. You have to be intentional, and it usually takes time to develop. So now we go to how do we build your skills to endure hardship, okay, or to deal with difficult situations in your life. What I want to think, the way I think about it is you have a toolbox, okay, of your skills na when you're faced with a hard situation or a very stress-inducing situation, no, you have this skill set, you have this tools that you can use to deal and manage that difficult situation. So, like for example, if you're faced with a difficult situation, work, no, if you think, ba cognitive toolbox ko that I can use to help me go through this difficult time, for me to be able to bounce back, to adapt well, and to even grow and thrive from this very difficult situation. Okay, we have 5 categories. No, first one is building connections, fostering wellness, finding your purpose, embracing healthy thoughts, and fifth is health. Now we go to the first category, no, building connection. Of course, because of the quarantine protocols, no, safety, we focus on being physically distant. Physically distant, but not socially distant. Yun yung lagi nating iisipin. You always prioritize your relationships. Okay? Prioritize your relationships. Prioritizing relationships gives you that feeling that you are not alone in the midst of this adversity. Okay, it actually gives you a sense na your friends, no, if you have very empathic and people who validate your emotions, it helps you go through difficult times together. Okay, sometimes it's a one-on-one. You have friends, your family members, your significant other, no? But joining a group also helps, no? It could be faith-based. You have your Bible study groups or mga groups na in church, no, faith-based, or some other organizations that feeling that you belong. Okay, like-minded people. Maybe you share a passion, okay, a passion project, or people na, for example, yung mga gamers, they have that parang mga gamers na culture, or they have that organization, civic groups, and some organizations maybe in your workplace to make you feel that you're not alone. Okay, joining a group could be faith-based or other organization can bring you it can bring you hope and a sense of purpose. So building connections. The second one is fostering wellness. And part of wellness is taking care of yourself. Laging buzzword dyan is self-care. That's always the word that you use when you think of wellness. You promote a positive lifestyle. So it's very parang it's always advised to a lot of people. No, it's always emphasized to promote a positive lifestyle. Means you have proper nutrition and hydration. Hydration, okay. So choosing healthy habits can help you to take care of yourself. No, proper nutrition instead of parang mga fast food, no? You could opt to a more healthy choice of food. Okay, you need ample sleep. Okay, ample. No, because of the long hours that we have at work. No, sometimes stress really has an effect on our sleep. So having ample sleep, 7 to 8 hours a day, that's very good because sleep is your body, it's your body healing itself. You really need this. You need sleep. And of course, regular exercise. No, we can't stress it enough. No, always exercise, and exercising regularly can help you. You have to tend to your own needs and feelings. Okay? You participate in activities that you enjoy. Okay? If you are into arts, if you're into sports, if you're into biking, if it makes you feel good and you enjoy it, you do it. You participate in these activities. And also you have to practice stress management and relaxation techniques. Okay, part of wellness also is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness, being in the moment. You could do this by journaling, practicing yoga as an exercise, no? And other spiritual practices such as prayer. It can help people build connections, especially if you do it with a group, okay, with other people. It fosters hope, restores hope as well. And by practicing mindfulness, you ruminate on the positive aspects of life and recall the things that you're grateful for. Because nowadays, what we usually see in the news, no, we are all bombarded with uh, negative negative media, okay, or negative outlook sa lahat ng mga bagay or negative perspective. No? Intentionally practicing mindfulness, ruminating, and giving, practicing gratitude will foster or improve your wellness. Avoiding negative outlets. It's really tempting. It's really tempting, no? Especially now in our culture that we want a quick fix to our problems. We want it fast. It may be tempting to really mask our pain with alcohol, drugs, or even nicotine. Um, it's a bandage on a deep one. It doesn't really um, somehow deal with the underlying. It's only a bandage. Quick fix, no? It's a quick fix, but has a negative impact on your health, no, on your physical body, and also it could actually be a disorder as well. Okay, so you try to manage your stress and you do not eliminate the feeling of stress. Okay? You try to manage it and not completely eliminate it. Okay? The third category is finding purpose. Okay, you find your purpose. Help others. Simple acts of kindness. Sometimes they think that helping others involves monetary, but really simple acts of kindness. It shouldn't be monetary. No, it could be service or even a good word, no, words of kindness. You give to your workmates or just telling people na, oh, you did a good job. Okay? So it's actually helping others as well. Volunteering. Okay, you know that if you observe, no, during this pandemic, there are a lot of call to volunteer. You know? It's part of finding purpose by helping others. No? Hindi lang ka nakakatulong sa ibang tao, but you are actually helping yourself as well by fostering a sense of purpose, a sense of worth. You're able to connect with others, no? And it helps you in terms of your growth, in terms of this, in the time of adversity. Help others. Next is being proactive. Proactive, not really passive. Okay? You acknowledge and accept your feelings during hard times. Okay. For example, nalulungkot ka because nawalan ka ng work. Okay? So it's normal to feel sad and to feel a little blue, but you can do something about it. At that time that you have no work, you can develop your strengths and work on your resume. There are a lot of free classes, you know, online that you can take para ma-build yung skills mo and yung strengths mo. Okay? So it fosters self-discovery because what can I do about a problem in my life? Diba? There are things that you cannot really take control of. Like, for example, if you got laid off, you can control. Maybe you could try to reason with your boss. If that didn't work, that's one thing. You develop your strengths and you keep working on yourself and on your resume so that you will be a stronger candidate if you apply for another work. Okay? Finding solutions to your problems. You move toward your goals. Okay? You develop some realistic goals and do something regularly, even if it seems like a small accomplishment. So at times na you feel like uh, you don't you don't have a goal or you don't know where you're going, you move you write in your journal what you really want to happen, and you move towards it. You move towards your goal. For example, you want to be more healthy, so you you walk around the area. Okay? That's already doing something, that's already accomplishing your goal. Okay? That's one thing I know I can accomplish today that helps me move in the direction I want to go. There's no there's big accomplishments, but you know, you celebrate the small accomplishments as well that you can do that day, what you can do today. Okay. Next is you look for opportunities for self-discovery. So one part of being resilient is thriving in the midst of adversity. You grow as a result of this struggle or of this adversity. For example, during this pandemic and because of the quarantine or people stay home, there are people who report that they have better relationships with their families because they become more intentional in terms of connecting. So they report they have better relationships. Okay? You will be able to find greater sense of strength and even while being vulnerable. So that's a balance of being vulnerable but having strength as well. It also increases your sense of self-worth and heighten the appreciation for life. Okay? So the fourth one is in terms of your thoughts. You enhance healthy thoughts. You keep things in perspective. We always say na how you think can play a significant part in how you feel. Of course, if you think badly of yourself, it will reflect on your feelings as well. Okay, you try to identify areas of irrational thinking and you adopt a more balanced and realistic thinking pattern. Okay, for instance, if you feel overwhelmed by a challenge, remind yourself that what happened to you isn't an indicator of how your future will go, and that you're not helpless. Okay? You may not be able to change a highly stressful event, but you can change how you interpret and you respond to it. You know? We cannot really control the events usually, or we have limited control over the things that happen to us. But what we can control is how we interpret and respond to these events. Okay? Common irrational beliefs that we hear, no? Sometimes you must do perfectly in all respects. It have to be perfect. It should be perfect. Or sometimes when you act badly, you define yourself already as a bad person. May ginawa akong mali. So actually, I'm a failure already because of what I did, or I'm a bad person. Okay? You must be loved and approved by everyone. So everyone should love you and approve you. It is terrible, horrible, awful, and even catastrophic when things aren't going the way you want them. So if things didn't go as planned, it's very terrible. It's catastrophic. Magugunaw na ang mundo. Okay? Behaviors that worked for someone else or which formerly worked on you are what must be followed. So you hear talks like this na parang nag-work sa kanya yun eh. Baka it will work for me. Dapat mag-work din sa akin. Okay? Your happiness is caused by other events or people rather than how you think or talk to yourself. Your happiness depends on situations or other people. That's irrational belief. People and things should be different from what they are, and it is catastrophic if perfect solutions cannot be immediately found. Catastrophic. And things that had happened in the past are all important, need to be continually worried about, and limit your possibilities for the future. So things that happened to you in the past, maybe setbacks, failures, it's worth na you worry about, and it limits you in terms of doing things or the possibilities sa future mo. Okay? Next is accepting change. You have to accept that change is really part of life. They say that the change is the only thing that's permanent. Change constantly, it's very dynamic, especially now. Certain goals or ideals may no longer be attainable. Maybe you have goals 10 years ago, but now it seems it's not really as attainable or practical nowadays. Accepting circumstances that cannot be changed can help you focus on circumstances that you can alter. By putting your thoughts on things that you cannot change, well, it's not really healthy. Trying to think of things that you can alter, or you can change, or you can do something about, it's something that's very healthy or will be useful for you. Okay? Maintaining a hopeful outlook. It's hard to be positive when life isn't going your way. Of course, we all know that. Now, when you are feeling very sad, very blue, okay, it's really hard to see the good things. It's hard. That's why it's very intentional. It's hard. It should be intentional. So an optimistic outlook empowers you to expect that good things will happen to you. So instead of worrying, okay, or thinking about things that worries you or things that you fear, you try to visualize what you want. Instead of thinking of your fears, of your problems, you visualize ano ba yung gusto kong ma-attain. Okay? You visualize what you want so that you will be able to maintain a hopeful outlook. Next is learning from the past. That's why it's really important to keep a journal, especially if you're going through a difficult time, because by looking back, uh, um, at who or what was helpful in the previous times of your distress, you will be reminded of where you've been able to find strength. So, sino, you will be reminded of things or people that gave you strength during that difficult time. Sometimes kasi we are very forgetful of, of, of what we had gone through. By looking back during those difficult times, ano kaya yung mga nakatulog sa akin that time? Okay, nung nagkaroon ng dissolution ng relationship, or I broke up with this previous girlfriend of mine or boyfriend of mine, paano kaya ako nag-cope during that situation? Sino yung nakatulong sa akin? Or ano yung mga activities that helped me? Because chances are, if you were able to draw strength or those things helped you before, it might help you now during a stressful or adverse situation that you're going through. Okay. The last one is seeking help. So when to seek professional advice? As I've said, becoming more resilient takes time, practice, and it takes intentionality. It takes time. It's not a quick fix. If you don't feel like you are making progress or you don't know where to start, consider talking to a mental health professional. With guidance, you can improve your resiliency and mental well-being with some guidance. Okay? If you feel na you're still very confused after this lecture, or you feel like you did all of those things that I've said, no, those skills, you've tried that, but you feel like you're not making progress, that's when it's you can consider talking to a professional already. Okay. The important thing is to remember that you are not alone. If you remember, one of the effects of stress is loneliness. Okay? And sometimes you isolate yourself from your relationships, but you have to remember that you are not alone. Okay? You are not alone in this situation. There are people who's going through the same difficulty as you are. Right now, it's really a difficult time for many of us. Perhaps you're experiencing stressful events going on globally, or maybe right into your own backyard. Maybe in your own office, maybe in your own home. So it's really difficult for us. But remember that you are not alone and there is always help around the corner. So ipo-plug ko lang, no? Our crisis hotline, the National Center for Mental Health's crisis hotline, no? It's 24/7. If you need someone to talk to, okay, or if you feel very confused, it's 24/7. It's a crisis hotline, but if you need some guidance, no, they could, refer you to other professionals as well. So calling them will actually help you. It's free, no? So if you need someone to talk to, it's an option for you. If sometimes your social supports are not there, your friends, or you are not comfortable talking to your family about your issues, this one can be of help to you. Maybe you can consider it. Now, we are done with building your skills in terms of hardship. Now we go to the resiliency roadmap. You are here, and now what are the things we can do more for us to be more resilient? Okay? To be more adaptable and to grow in this time of adversity. Okay? The first one is you identify your own personal signs of distress, because each of us has a different individualized experience during a stressful event or during a stressful situation. For some, they show more of physical symptoms, sometimes emotional or cognitive or behavioral. Now, you identify, you write in your journal, when I am stressed, when I'm faced with a difficult situation, what do I usually feel? What's my signs that I am actually feeling distressed already? Okay. This is very individualized. Okay. It varies from person to person. So, very good parang start is to think what are your physical signs when you're stressed. A lot of people will have headaches or migraines. I remember when I was in DTTB, I have headaches and migraines almost every day. So I never thought na it's really a physical sign of distress until a colleague pointed it out. No, headaches. That's one is very personal to me. I do headaches and migraines. Some people, they will have shoulder pains or back pains. Ang bigat-bigat ng likod, parang ang dami-dami nilang dinadala. Okay? Likod, masakit. Or sometimes they have a lump in the throat. Okay? Upset stomach. I know people na when they are stressed, they cannot eat. Okay? They feel nauseated. Parang they want to to sumuka. Okay? Or parang hindi sila mapakali, upset stomach. Sometimes you have difficulty of breathing or heavy in the chest area, or general tight lang yung muscles mo. Okay? You really feel uncomfortable or ill at ease with your body. So identifying your constellation of symptoms will help you recognizing stress, early warning signs of stress. No? So being mindful of your signs of stress helps you or warns you that this is actually it's really stressful na for me. Next, what aspect or aspects of a stress situation are most likely to be challenging for you? We all find difficult aspects of a stressful situation difficult. Iba-iba siya. No? So, loss of control, could be loss of control of a situation, separation from your family, disruptions in your routine, or financial pressure. For example, kapag nakipag-break ka sa significant other mo, it is stressful and it is distressing. It's painful. But what particular part of that situation is really challenging for you? You think, ano ba doon yung talagang challenging for me? It could be a disruption in your routine because we have a routine. My partner and I, we have a routine. Every week, we go on dates. Every day, we talk about other problems. Even yung routine ng good morning in the morning and good night sa gabi. No? That's a routine eh. Yung ba yung disruption ng routine na yun? Yung ba yung nakaka-pressure sa'yo? Or yun yung nakaka-stress sa'yo? Or you're feeling na you have loss of control? Wala akong magawa eh. So, loss of control. Separation from a family or financial pressure sometimes, no? Being able to anticipate what features of a challenge are most likely to be the highest stress for you will allow you to plan some coping techniques to mitigate that impact. For example, what's really, with that example that I gave, breaking up, stressful situation, because of the disruption in the routine. Sinong kasama ko kapag kakain ako sa labas? Diba? So now you can plan some coping techniques that might mitigate that impact. So, kung yung routine ba yung problem, maybe some of my friends and family members can fill into that routine. Talking to your family, if you have problems, before you talk to your significant other, now you talk to your friends, you talk to your family members. If you have routines of going out, You could go out with your friends, go on dates with your mom or with your dad or with your siblings. No? You could plan ahead. Okay. Next is identifying identifying stress coping techniques that already work for you. Okay. So you brainstorm all the positive coping techniques you already use. No, it involves it involves reflection. Okay, what are the things? What are my coping skills when I have problems? Okay, going to, as for some people, uh you have thoughts or tight muscles, back pains. Coping nila, magpapamasahe sila. Okay, self-care. Sometimes people, when they have uh, difficult situations, they run or going to the gym or exercising helps them. Okay? Sometimes talking it out, talking to your to your family members, to your significant other, or to your friends helps you. Okay, positive coping. What do you usually use? Or sometimes parang you become more into the arts, expressing yourself. It's a coping for you. You brainstorm all of the coping techniques that you already use. Okay, and you all have that coping skills in your mind. No, these are your tools already that you use. Okay, and being sure to identify and commit to those existing resiliency building strategies helps you give more intentional time to these strategies. So you know na this coping works for you. So you become more intentional in terms of uh, become more intentional in using strategies. Yeah. Okay. Next one is part one of relaxation technique. So sometimes you can use relaxation techniques. You focus on your diaphragmatic breathing. So there is a website, the www.xhalr.com. It's a free breath pacer, and you discover the inhale, pause, exhale timing settings that your body likes best for you to use. Okay. So I recorded my settings. No, my settings is inhaling for 4 seconds and then pause for 2 seconds and then exhaling and then pause for 2 seconds. So paulit-ulit lang. So that's one thing that's very that works for me. Okay? By using this in this website, no, if you go to that, you 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 experiment on what settings works for you at kaya ng body. Okay? So kapag you go to that website, parang ganito yung makikita mo. Inhale, hold, then exhale. So may visual representation that will help you in your practice of diaphragmatic breathing. Then remind yourself to practice your paced breathing daily. So practice makes perfect, or practice actually helps you na mas maging automatic or maging habit to sa'yo. Okay? So that you will be able to learn to lean on it more robustly in times of stress. You do this on a normal day so that when you are facing a very stressful situation, it will be easier for you to do it. Okay? Wag mo siyang gawin ng, kapag na-stress na lang ako. So you practice. You need to practice it because, di ba, it takes time, okay, for it to be a habit, and it takes a lot of intentionality. Okay? So this is one of your tools in your toolbox that you can use. So the website is very good in terms of helping you in your diaphragmatic breathing. Okay. mindfulness and meditation, progressive muscle relaxation, guided imagery, mindfulness, prayers, no? Prayers. No? If there are um, people of the same religion, maybe in your workplace, right? Pwede kayong gumawa ng group to have a prayer group or a mindfulness group or a meditation group na you help each other to practice mindfulness and prayer and meditation. Research says that meditation and prayer gives you that sense of calm na nagkakaroon ng different waves dun sa brain natin so that it will be parang restful dun sa brain natin. So ganon, your goal is to have that sense of calmness that prayer and meditation gives. No, if you are familiar with, I don't like kasi to be a little bit religious, no, but some the yogis and the monks, if you see them practice, that's one of the things that they are very intentional with. Okay? Healthy thinking by reframing unhelpful thinking patterns. Our greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. So we have very limited control over stressful situations, but we have control over our thoughts. Okay. Negative self-talk shifted to a more helpful frame. So, paano ba to? Hey, your irrational thought replace it with rational thought. So, um, early on, we discussed about some of the common irrational thoughts that you might have. Okay? One is, I have to be perfect all the time. 100% lagi. Perfect, 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 perfect. That's the irrational thought. Why is it irrational? Because, of course, you can't be perfect all the time. You replace that irrational thought with, I would like to be perfect all the time, but it is all right to make mistakes sometimes, no? I want to be perfect, but it's all right if sometimes I make mistakes. Okay? So, self-reflection ulit yan. You identify your thought. Can you see recurring thoughts or themes na very prevalent sa utak mo? You identify that. Recurring self-talk. Negative self-talk. And then you challenge the thought. You evaluate the thought, look for evidence for or against it, and you replace it. You replace the thought with something more reality based. Okay, I need to be perfect all the time versus I would like to be perfect, but it's okay if I make mistakes. Okay, that's helpful and healthy thinking pattern. Intentional focus on positive emotions and experiences. Intentional, that's the word. Every day may not be good, but there is something good in every day. So you give intentional attention daily to times of joy and gratitude. We are bombarded, as I've said, negative perspectives or negative news. You have to be intentional. You look for it. You look for positive experiences. You look for positive um, something positive that happened to you in that day. Okay? So there's something good. There's always something good in every day. Okay? You intentionally look for it. And of course, social support. You identify what social support means to you. Each of us have different ideas or perspective on what social support means. No? Who is your support network? And what types of support are most valuable to you? Anong class support ba ang hinahanap mo? Emotional comfort ba yan? Okay, to validate your feelings? words of encouragement, acts of service. You want advice ba? Or you just want someone to be there, companionship. So, ano ba yung social support and what does it mean for you? And you have to be open for new supports, no? Especially now, the landscape of social relationship is dynamic. It's different. You have online. You have online support groups, social supports online, and then you have your physical people that you can talk to. Okay, so you just be open. You be open to new supports. Don't limit yourself to to your existing social supports. Okay, so this is an example of a resiliency roadmap. This is from the Mayo Clinic. Okay, so for example, signs of stress. So what do I feel when I'm stressed? Muscle tension. You feel muscle tension in the neck, in the jaw, or at the back, and you feel irritable. You easily snap, no, at others, and you work more. Okay? When you are stressed, I work more. Stressful situations, no, that is challenging for you. Situations in which I feel a huge loss of control, or situations that impact my sleep schedule, no? Huge loss of control. Sometimes you have a routine already, or there are uncertainty dun sa mga stressful situations. Yun yung nakaka-stress sa kanya. Okay? Loss of control. I can't control things. So, yun yung pinaka-challenging. Next is the tools I already use. What are my coping techniques that works with me? Bike riding. Okay? Riding a bike with my family. So exercising, listening to my favorite song. Okay? Of course, no, it's so easy when you have your phone naman with you, no, listening to your favorite song. For personally, listening to Taylor Swift's songs, yan, it really uplifts my mood. Okay, lunch or dinner with your significant other, okay, and being able to talk about life and about your current adversities and problems helps you. It's your coping. Okay, and then relaxed breathing. Okay, your settings. Okay, 3 seconds inhale, 2 seconds pause, 5 seconds exhale. It's very personalized for you. While at work, when you feel you're really, really stressed, ang dami-daming nangyayari, and you feel very tensionado ang likod, nag-headache ka na, so you go to xhalr.com and you put on your settings, and you practice diaphragmatic breathing while at work. It takes a few minutes of your time, but impacts your mental health greatly. Okay, these are very simple things that can really help you, which has a very big impact. Next is progressive relaxation exercises. No? Progressive muscle relaxation techniques when you're feeling more physical. You have physical signs of distress, visualization, okay, or mindful bike riding with your kids can help you. Maybe there are some apps that might be helpful to you. Okay, so gawin mo siya. Helpful thinking. Okay, our greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another, and acceptance of what of things that cannot change is the first step. Helpful thinking. Ano ba yan? Ang dami-daming changes sa trabaho. Ang dami-daming change. Ang dami nilang gustong gawin. Okay? I feel overwhelmed. Sa dami-dami nilang gustong ipagawa. So you accept. Acceptance is the first step. Okay? I accept na I cannot really change a lot of things, or I have very limited um, control over all of these things, no? But you ask, no? You feel overwhelmed, but what can I actually control in this situation? Is my thinking helpful to me right now? Nakakatulong ba yung ganitong thinking pattern ko, yung pag-frame ko ng mga bagay-bagay? Or is there another way or another frame that I can use to make me feel good about this stressful situation? A positive emotion, gratitude. Usually, I tell my patients um, to keep a journal and to think of things that they are gratitude that they have they are gratitude for, no? Things that early in the morning, okay? So, minsan kasi 'di ba you have that sense of dread, especially if you feel very stressed. Parang, I'm gonna go to work now. I have a lot of things to do, no? Now, you take a moment, you step back, you get your journal, and you write down things that you're grateful for. Okay? You think. And you reflect on it. You reflect on it. Okay? It gives you positive emotions. Kasi sometimes yung start mo ng day, somehow it helps you go through the day as well. So it's very important to do that. Social support. You list down your social supports. Okay, my husband, my dad, my sisters, my brother-in-law, okay, your friends, your tawag dito, mga people in the office, no, your team, okay? So you write it all down. Okay? Of course, these people should make you feel good. Kasi why would you interact more with people that make you feel less? Okay? So positive people, your support, very people who has empathy, okay? Validates you, understands you, not irritated by you, and you think um ano ba yung social support para sa akin? Okay? If I hear words of encouragement, actually it helps me a lot, you know? Or yung acts of kindness nila or acts of service makes me feel good. Sometimes getting a new perspective, if you are being proactive in terms of finding solution to problems, no, they can actually help also in 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 terms of your input sa mga bagay-bagay. Emotional support and companionship from your friends, very important. Now, this is actually the end of my lecture. Okay, so I'll end um, by this quote from Helen Keller. No? Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of overcoming it. You have a lot of tools in you that you can use in bouncing back and even thriving during adverse events in your life. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Das, for that very informative presentation. So, yan. Nagka-clap sila, ma'am. Dito talaga yung new normal. No? So, pati yung clapping natin for emoticons lang. And we
Oo,
appreciate
ganyan.
that, ma'am. Emote na emote talaga yung yung iba nakaka-relate. So, relate na relate. I myself. Ito, ma'am, ipa-flash ko lang utang ko sa inyo, ma'am, kanina naghang. Actually, pati yung dapat yung prayer, ano yun eh,
Oo nga.
naka-transcript yun. So, nag-impromptu na lang ako, di ba? But anyway, yan po yung
Oo.
kanyang ang picture
That's
mo ni
okay,
ma'am.
that's okay.
Yeah, you're one of us,
Sign of
ma'am, kasi
resilience yan.
yeah, adjustment kaagad, no? Siya po ay taga sa atin kasi
Yes,
kay
you adjust,
Doctor
no? You adapt
to
to
the yeah
situations. Yes.
to the Dr. Les Barrios. Siya po yung ating very
PDD.
esteemed speaker. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing. So with that,
Yes.
we can move on to our much awaited portion of this activity, the open forum or the question and answer
Much
portion.
awaited.
Yeah, the virtual floor is now open for questions po. So you can
Yeah.
have your questions. Kahit hindi po sa
Yes.
chat
You can
box, if you
unmute
can,
yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Questions from the floor po. You can enter a chat message or simply, yan, si Ma'am
Ako, pwede
Tess.
magtanong. Yeah, pwede magtanong, Dr. Das. Thank you so much. Sabi ko nga, maganda pang speaker, kaya talaga, tsaka maganda yung, ano mo, yung presentation mo dahil very practical and very easy to follow. Ayun lang naman pala parang ganun ba yung ano ko, yung first ko na, ay ganun pala yun, ganun naman pala talagang ginagawa ko. No? So, I mean, for me, na validate yung ginagawa ko personally. Maitanong lang ako, paano kayo, and I'm going to check out that the website that you said there about the breathing exercises. Of course, meron kaming mga breathing exercises na nakuha din sa isang provider, no? So, really, breathing exercise is really very important. Is there a way na after this, magkaroon tayo ng buong mga sessions ay parang ano lang, exam, yung alam you know, we practice it. Alam mo yun, tuturuan kami on how to practice all of those thoughts. I mean, all of those strategies ba yun or tools, no? That you have given to us. So I think siguro kailangan din yan. No? Sa ngayon, we're listening, we're imbibing, and we're just trying to take it on. Pero ay siguro din na importante is we are able to practice it and to find out whether we can do it. So would there be a way of doing that?
Yes po, siguro coordinate na lang po with the special concerns. Maybe we could do something about maybe a workshop on that, no? Sometimes kasi sometimes it's very individualized po, Ma'am Presi. No? These are tools, but you have to be intentional in doing it. You have to practice and you try if it works for you or if it's not working for you. No? So you just really have to try it, and you have your own personal tools that you can use during stressful or adverse events. You have your own personal toolbox. Yes,
Yeah,
po.
that's right. Yeah, so
Yes,
we
po.
will do that, and for the group, no, who are willing to join again, I think we will have this kind of a session. Particularly, I'm interested in coming out with your own personal work plan. Alam mo yon, yung work, what works for you. And I think
Yes.
kailangan, I mean, it's easy to write it down, no? But it's also something
Yes.
we need also probably some guidance on how to
Yes,
put it
yes
down.
po.
Diba? Alam mo yon?
Yes po. Yes po. Oo. Opo. Maybe in a very individualized, no? It's very hard kasi if it's like a very big group. Pero if you have like a very personal, individualized or very small groups, it will be helpful in terms of creating your own resiliency roadmap.
Yeah.
Yes po. Thank you po, Ma'am Presi.
Thank you, Dr. Das.
Ang dami palang participants, no?
Kanina, that's 200 something, 45.
Yes.
There were people
Yes.
already who logged out.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning po sa everyone. So if you have questions or things that you want to ask, no? You just write it down or you can unmute yourself. No? For people na very shy, pwedeng to I know sometimes kasi there are people na parang they don't want to ask baka kasi bakit siya nag-question, no? So, baka may pinagdadaanan, ganyan, no? Pero, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, we are here to help you and build your individual resilience. Yes.
There is a question po from the in the chat box po.
Saan?
Let me
Nakikita.
read. It says here, if you have loved ones that has PTSD, how do you help them? They ask for help, but when you do help them, di nila pinakikinggan. How do you deal with it? Because it also affects me as well.
Okay, di ba? Oh, di ba one of the identified stressors is life stressor is taking care of a loved one na may illness or may chronic disease or a sick loved one. And kasama na dyan yung may mga mental health issues or even clinical diagnosis such as PTSD. No? It's really hard. It's really hard, especially dun sa part ng caregiver. Okay? Siguro on a very general, kasi it's very individualized din. Kasi we don't know what your relative is going through. You give a very supportive and reassuring stance. Okay? Never naman nagkakamali in terms of being reassuring and being supportive, especially if you are a family member. Okay? That's what we ask from family members. If you think your relative needs more professional help, no, you could talk to the psychiatrist or to the other psychologist para ma-address yung other things na kailangan niya. Sometimes kasi kapag relative yung nagtatry to help or give advice, medyo resistant sila eh. But sometimes if it is in a context of a therapeutic alliance between a patient and a psychiatrist or even a psychologist to a patient, baka mas makakatulong iyon. Okay? Oo nga. Meron pang question.
Yes, ma'am. Ito po isa, ma'am.
May nag-send po ng anonymous question.
Okay. Yes.
How do you manage and respond to difficult people at work when there are words uncalled for or actions become offensive or insensitive daw?
Yan. Wow, that's very good. No? Actually, that's the topic for next week's series. Okay, webinar natin. How to deal with difficult people in the workplace. So, in my so how do you deal with difficult people? Tama ba yung ganun yung question, Aldrin?
Yes.
Oo. How do you deal with difficult people? No? Offensive people. Okay? You just have to walk away. If you can walk away from these people, you have to take a break from these people. No? Limit your interactions, no? For your own wellness as well. Now, if it's inevitable, like for example, kasama mo siya talaga sa team, professionally, kailangan mo siyang makausap, no? Or boss mo yan. So, you just keep it very professional. Very professional. No? Pero on a personal level, no, some friends, ganyan, pwede mo namang limit your interactions with them. Pero on a professional, just the need to interact. Ganun mo lang talaga siya gagawin. Okay? Yeah, and I think next week, you will learn more about that. And the speaker will give you more skills in terms of handling difficult people in the workplace.
Ma'am, another question, ma'am, na nandito sa chat box. How do you approach someone who regularly talks about suicide?
Regularly talk about suicide, regularly.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to deal with certain people na ganyan, you refer them to a mental health professional. Okay? Some people who talks about suicide, they just need people who will listen to them. So sometimes you don't need to tell something, or you don't need to say something. You just really have to be there and listen. Pero if it's really hard for you to do that, you can refer this person, like for example, to the crisis hotline. If this person needs, if the person is in crisis, wants a person who he or she can talk to, even in the dire hours of the night, you can refer it to them. Kasi sometimes kasi dealing with suicidal, baka mamaya alas 10 na or tulog ka na, bigla kang tatawagan, no? It's very hard also for you. So, medyo may boundaries din, and you refer them to the professionals, okay? Pero on your part, you can be supportive and listen and be there for this person, okay?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Another question po. Why are Filipinos tagged as resilient? Do you said that resiliency is not a personality trait but being developed?
Yes, okay. No, resiliency, what we talked about is individual resiliency, your personal resiliency, okay? Prior to giving this lecture, I was thinking, should I delve into organizational resiliency or even resiliency as a people? Okay, so it just sinasabi lang na Filipinos, we are able to adapt well. Okay, we adapt well, we bounce back readily from adversities. Okay, so it's not really a personality trait or a description of the whole community or us peoples, pero it's individualized kasi. And siguro the things that we had gone through as a nation or as a society, medyo naging resilient tayo in the eyes of the other societies. Actually, I've read about questioning already, no? Are we really resilient people? No? Pina-question na nila. There are a lot of articles about it na pwede nyo ring basahin. Pero individual resiliency yung sinasabi natin that we can develop. Okay? Siguro meron lang kasing traits na we have, like for example, perseverance. Okay? Or yung mga ganyan that makes us resilient. Okay? Meron pa rito someone, how do you approach someone who has given up on their life-work balance? Okay. So, paano ba to? How do you approach na who has given up? So, ibig sabihin, lost hope already. So, what this person can do is, yung as I've said, reframing, finding purpose, building connections to foster hope, no? Kasi kapag nag-give up na, okay, so medyo kapag nag-give up kasi parang you don't have any intention of changing things already. By fostering or building hope actually helps you. So you can do that by building connections, by improving your wellness, no? And reframing your thought patterns. Okay? Mukhang yun yung makakatulong, yung reframing the thought patterns of this person. Okay? Next. Ayan. Anonymous question from the chat box. Can PTSD be permanently cured, especially when someone had a traumatic experience with a former boss or supervisor who has apparent anger management concerns and has been abusive in terms of words like cursing and threatening staff every day for a year, and affected you to in a way that you sometimes become like them randomly at times when things get too difficult in the workplace? Okay. PTSD can be permanently cured. No, PTSD can be managed. The symptoms of PTSD can be managed. There are a lot of parang tools, no, or parang mga skills that we help patients dealing with PTSD. So if this person wants to delve into the PTSD symptoms that she's having or he's having, maganda na mag-contact siya ng mental health professional para mas personalize yung magiging uh, um, management of that. Okay? Yun. Okay. Para mga PTSD, yung mga symptoms, no, traumatic yung mga nangyayari. Okay. You can be managed.
Anything more from the floor? Wala na po kami nakikita sa chat box.
Anything from the floor?
Counting once, counting twice.
Yeah. You have opportunities din naman. Kasi this is a series, no? So if you have other things na nakalimutan mo to question me, no? Next week maybe pwede naman 'yon. For the next speaker. You can always contact us. Kasi we are one family. We are part of the DOH family. We also at the National Center for Mental Health. Okay?
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Dr. Das, for that informative presentation. And that concludes our question and answer session. Thank you, Dr. Das, and the many thanks to those who raised their questions. We hope that reminder lang po na fill up lang po yung evaluation form para po mas ma-improve pa po natin yung ating webinar series. It will help us a lot to improve it. Also, for our closing announcement, next slides, Sir Mads. Ay, yan. Ito po yung for now, no? Ito yung natapos natin yung building resilience given by Dr. Das. And we are so thankful for that input na talaga namang nakaka-uplift sa atin. And sabi nga ni Ma'am Presi kanina, ginagawa na pala namin yun. Kaya lang kailangan natin siyang compartmentalize and be definite about it. So ito po yung una nating natapos, building resilience, getting comfortable with uncomfortable. Ngayon po yan. So meron pa po tayong 4 na natitira. So we're expecting for you to attend the different sessions na nakaschedule naman po. You can look at the dates. Yung susunod po
Nawala pa yata kayo.
Nawala si Aldrin. Hello?
Yes po, ma'am. Hindi po marinig po yung audio niya po.
Okay, if then we can probably end unless there are some issues that you would like to take up with them. Wala na rin, then we can end already. I-end mo na, Mads, because Aldrin is not,
Thank you po, ma'am. Thank you. For all of the materials po, we'll share it na lang po. If there's a conflict of the schedule for future webinars, we'll also be sharing it po. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And by the way, I saw pala kanina merong isang nag-chat. If we can have this institutionalized in the Department of Health, yes. We will have as part of the policy of the Department of Health, to really have a policy on mental health in the workplace, in the Department of Health. So we will be doing that, and we're working with the PAD to be able to establish these things. Thank you so much, and everyone, and have a blissful and blessed weekend to all of us. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so maybe we can close na po. Sir Mads, can you post the video? Okay, thank you very much po for accomplishing the evaluation form. So as you can see, we have 5 more topics, no? So that will surely enrich our knowledge and hopefully be translated to applications. So mark your calendar and attend these remaining topics. Thank you, Dr. Das, Ma'am Presi, and everyone who for joining us in the series 1 of our workplace wellness webinars. To Dr. Das, our gratitude goes out to you for sharing your time and expertise with us. To all the participants, thank you very much for your participation. We hope that it was a productive knowledge sharing for everyone. And on behalf of the entire team behind this webinar, we thank everyone again for joining us this morning and see you again. Have a healthy lunch and stay safe always. God bless us all. Thank you.